Hi there, welcome all of you to the morning show with Monty. Doo-doo, doo-doo. Hey guys, welcome all of you. I just want to get back to you. Hey, I want to get this sound a little clearer and kind of spruce up a bit for you today. And here I am. I'm Monte Cagle, down here in the beautiful island of Aruba. And just in case you don't know, I'm a author, composer, writer, inspirationalist, spokesperson, more or less, and a father of 10 kids, and missionary, and teacher, and whatever. Occasionally in the week, I like to do a little thing I call the common sense segment of our broadcasting and our videos and things. And I have a YouTube channel, as you can see, the Monte Cagle channel on YouTube. By the way, for more information and if you'd like to know more about what I'm doing and some of the things that I'm saying, don't forget to log on to the Monte Cagle YouTube channel right there. And we try to present some news tips, give you some little comments and comment on the news. We give you inspirational talks and little videos and things that could be an encouragement to you, and also in Papiamento and in English. And also, I like to tell you and to point you out, to remind you, before we get started, why don't you remember to get my book, Racism and the Cure. There is a cure to this terrible plague of racism worldwide. It's heavier than the coronavirus. As millions, billions, oh no, millions of people have died from this terrible, horrible disease. So don't forget to get my book, Racism and the Cure. You can go to my website, montecagle.com, and get it right there in our store. That's pretty much together nowadays. You can get it right there, and all the other wonderful goodies that you can get at montecagle.com. I'll show you a little later. And also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We need subscribers. We really like you to log on. And I believe many of the issues that we cover and some of the things that we teach about food, exercise, and just plain fun. It's fun for you. At our website and our YouTube channel, the Monte Cagle YouTube channel. Hey, just want to get a little more spruced up for you. And also, I just wanted to make this little short video. I hope it's short. That you can hear the sound a little clearer. And we're getting ready for you more and more and more. We're working on the studio down in Aruba. And we'd like to invite you, if you have opportunity, to come to Aruba. It's a beautiful island. You'd love it. It's awesome. And we'd like to invite you to our home, our little center that we are establishing here on the island. And just write us and follow the montecagle.com website, and you can get all the information there. And come and visit us in this beautiful island. This morning, I just wanted to just get back. I'm getting back to you. I've done it several times. I hope this broadcast, this little segment, will be very much clearer and more to the point. I did a little rant a little earlier today as I just gotten up, and my wife brought some things to my attention. She was on the net, and news article popped up on Yahoo, and she was kind of taken back, and she brought it to my attention as I was calmly going through the house, going to start my regular work in the house, and I was just so blown away. There's this issue that came up, or a little video that's going viral on the net. I believe it's going viral. Just want to be clear and loud for you. And it's right here. There's an issue. There was a young man, a black American. I won't say African American. He's an American, and he's black.
Yes.
And allegedly he was about to be lynched by this other young white American, a little group, and they were all upset, arguing about an issue. I don't know what it was. It doesn't seem to explain what the issue was that they were arguing about. But anyway, the result of the argument led to a possible lynching. We're going to lynch the guy. And it just so happened there was another group of people there who were also white, and they intervened on his behalf and stopped the other young man from carrying out the lynching. So I just brought out a few points about that, and I wanted to kind of clarify things and hope my sound's a lot better. That I believe this particular event was a staged event, and I could be wrong, but I looked into it a little more, and I read a little more about the article, and it seemed pretty true. But my first reaction when my wife brought this thing to my attention was a lot of times what I'll do is I like to pray when people bring things to my attention and ask God what he thinks of these things, of the things being said or the things being presented. And one of the things that hit my heart was, is this the truth? Was it really an event that was the truth? And also under our current climate, the climate of our nation right now, which is racial catastrophe, racial issues that are constantly being brought up and whipped up in the news and brought to our attention that we could either be upset about or get worked up on. I just thought, well, is it another lie, another news piece to get us emotionally upset about brutality against black people in America? And sure enough, one of the things that came to my mind was, is this city, is it a Democratic city or a Republican city? I actually said the words out of my mouth to my wife. And she said, well, I think it's a Democrat city. And there's this mayor that's talking, and I asked her, do you think he's a Democrat or a Republican? Sure enough, I look it up, and it says, as you can see the article right there, it says Bloomington mayor speaks out against alleged attempted lynching of one of his black residents. He says he knew the guy. So I was kind of really surprised about it, because lynching, number one, is something that people did hundreds of years ago. Lynching. I just said, look, if you want to get rid of somebody, nowadays you just take your little gun and go poof. Or take your, and I said even, you can even tase the guy to death. Why would go through a lynching? And so it seems like with that race car driver, not too long ago, he was afraid of, they were trying to have a lynching or putting up symbols of lynching, and that goes back, it hits me right away. Being a black American, I just, the years ago, the hanging of all these black American men in the South, lynching had kind of rung in my head, like, why would they use lynching in the 21st century? Why couldn't they just, just shoot him or whatever they do, or fight? What would they? And by the way, I was wondering, why would a black American, why would he just stand there and let somebody grab him? Why did he just try to break out? They're just standing there, and hope. Why didn't he run? And another point that I brought out that I was very surprised, I thought, this seems really weird. Here's a black guy. He goes down to this lake. Now, did he go down to the lake by himself? Was he down there fishing? And these people just sneaked up on him and grabbed him and started arguing? I really don't, it doesn't make sense. Or why would a black guy go, being realistic, okay, I like to do is common sense. If I'm a black guy, which I am, why in the world would I go down to the lake in a predominantly white area by myself and hang out? It just seemed really stupid. The whole thing that surrounded the circumstances that surrounded the whole event. Here's a black guy goes down to a lake that's predominantly white, it seems, by myself. And also, if he was with another group of black people there in the area, why would they not come to his aid, at least yell or scream or do something to help pull him away from these crazy people? That's what I mean. Duh, a light bulb kind of went poof, off in my head. And also, everything just seems so perfect, like they're there and they video it and they stood up for him. And then the next thing you know, this mayor, they have a little article, a little part of the video that he's doing almost like a political speech. So it just seemed really staged. And I was very suspicious of this, number one, the circumstances, and suspicious of, the motive. Why are they putting, what would be the motive? And like I've seen many people say, every 4 years it's the same story. They bring out all the old fears and all the old doubts and fears and isms and schisms for black Americans to vote Democrat. Now, I particularly don't care, Democrat, Republican, whatever. It's almost the same. But the point is, it's an election year. And I've watched the news pretty consistently around the world, what's happening in America. I've traveled around the world, and I've always been out of the States I've been out of the States quite a lot, but I follow the news. And I didn't hear much about all this stuff 4 years ago, or 8 years ago, or 12 years ago. But now, after these 3.5 years of Trump, it seems like everybody in the world is upset with the guy and whatever he does. But this whole issue of race relations in America is just it just seems really bogus. And a lot of the things that are happening seem staged. It really does. As an outsider, I am American. I was born in South Carolina. I was born in Pennsylvania, grew up in South Carolina, the epitome of racism and bigotry, the state and the people there. And I'm just really skeptical of this whole thing. I just think it's another cup of gasoline being thrown on the fire and trying to keep stoking that fire, they kind of run out of stuff, so they have to whip up stuff, And the thing is that it all happened in a democratic state. And this mayor, I'm not sure the whole state, but I believe this particular mayor is a Democrat. And right away he was there to give some kind of a speech that sounded more like a political speech than a concern for this young man. So I would implore you to please research this thing before you get out in the streets again. I would assume, I would suggest that we, as black Americans, become more outraged and upset at the millions of black babies that are being destroyed by the eugenicist in America and all these family planning centers that are sparse, that are scattered about through every major African American community in the country, and the killing of all these black babies that we are witnessing. It's just terrible. And all the crime, I think we as black Americans, instead of being out in the street over this one guy, it's tough. I know it's really horrible way this man, George Floyd, was murdered. But why are we not marching in the street and speaking out against this genocide of our people? Why? A few little policemen killing a few black men occasionally, and that's the truth. Not every day. It's not a major epidemic, which these people are saying. If you look at the real facts, look at the facts, not the hysteria, not the emotion and the dramatism and all the other things they're trying to whip up in America to bring on a racial divide in the country. But look at the real facts. But I couldn't believe it. I used to love to go to Baltimore in the summer. School was out, and have a few friends from Baltimore. And I really have seen the city change drastically. And Chicago, I've never gone to Chicago, but I can't believe some of the statistics that I hear coming out every weekend. Every weekend. And you ask yourself now, wait a minute. Why are we so worked up over these issues? It's tough. It's not good. Nobody would want anybody to hurt anybody under any kind of circumstance. But the actual murder of children and the mayors that are now waking up going, oh, we can't have this. Now, a few weeks ago, all the mayors like, yeah, have a party, tear up the country, whatever. And now all these Democratic mayors are coming out, oh, this is atrocious, this is outrageous, because they're freaked out that everybody have seen them just be so indifferent about the violence and the killing and the destruction in these cities, these Democratic cities, and do nothing about it. It's not right. It really isn't right. And most black people no, we're Christians. How in the world can you be a freaking Christian and sit by and just not say anything about all this destruction and division and war? How? We're supposed to, and well, I guess Obama said the truth. We're no longer a Christian nation, Obama said. And it's true. I guess everybody's throwing out their Christian values. I guess that's why I left the place so many years ago. I was disgusted with it and tired of this whole game that black people are playing and white people are playing in America, and especially Christians who are supposed to be loving each other and working together in unity, representing God's kingdom. And so I brought out a verse, and I really believe it's so true. It says in 2 Timothy. It says, in Timothy, I'm going to read you this first verse. 2 Timothy chapter 3, it says, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. Is it ever? How in the world can you read these things and say, well, maybe it won't happen in our time? If things continue the way they are going on, the way things are going right now, we'd kill each other anyway, and nuclear war and the whole thing. But men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boisterous, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, and without natural affection, truth breakers, false accusers, fierce despisers of those that are good. Wow, it says fierce. Despisers of those that are good. People just hate people who are trying to be good, trying to help one another, and they're actually hating it. People are actually, there's a war on Christianity in America. It's a real war. It really is. Let's be honest. It's like all this, the things that are going on, pulling down statues. Now they're at the point where we're going to tear down statues of Jesus Christ. Give me a break. If he's not a white Jesus, who cares? If it's a white Jesus to you, so what? If it's a black Jesus to you, so what? It's still Jesus. So who cares what color he was? The facts are, you have to look at the facts. Okay, he was born in Palestine. He was born in the Middle East area. So looking at the people, I would say he's wasn't necessarily blonde and blue eyes. But who the heck cares? He came, he lived, he died for us, and brought us that wonderful gift of salvation by his death. And we, as his representatives, you talk about a political party, the Christian party. Aren't we supposed to be the representatives of Jesus Christ on the earth? Aren't we supposed to show his love to others? And it's just totally ridiculous. Well, I guess money is more powerful in many people's lives than Jesus. So what people will do for money. But in the end, here's the next verse. It says, I want to just conclude with this. That evil doers and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving many and being deceived. Oh, God. So with all this deception, it stands to reason that people who are professing to be Christians would turn more than ever to the Word of God and listen to the truth more than the news narratives and all these commentators are bringing out. I would implore all people of love and truth, turn to the truth, look for the truth, and all Black Americans who are getting worked up over these news issues, please look at the real issues that are really plaguing our society. You know, many people are bringing it out more and more, and I guess the more people say it, the more we, Black Americans, will stand up and make our voices heard against all these evils of our people. No fathers in the home, lack of faith in God, the murder and genocide of our young babies and our young children that are being killed by the millions, thousands every year, and our population is there's only, I think we're about 17% of the population of America right now, and I guess a lot of politicians don't even play the game so much anymore for Black people because there's so few of us. What difference would it make? I guess they move on to the Latino community now. But it's time. It really is time to forget about all this old stuff. Like, the Civil War I keep bringing out. Isn't it possible that people could just, Jesus said, if you're supposed to be a Christian, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Right? So why are we worrying about what happened 2,000 years ago? I mean, not 2,000, 200 years ago. If anybody has a beef, should almost take revenge, which God is really going to deal with the world. Jesus himself murdered. So how about getting outraged? I will say it, and maybe if I say it, maybe somebody else will say it, and if we all say it enough, hey, why not being outraged? Why not become outraged about what's happening in Chicago, what's happening in Philadelphia, Baltimore, in California, with all the Black populations and all the murdering and all the destruction and all the horrible, horrible acts of violence that's being perpetrated on our people, the destruction of our communities, the destruction of our jobs, the destructions of our businesses, with all this riot. I like Germany. I really do, the way the politicians control the people there. Every so often, they have special days in Germany that you can riot. Okay, you don't like this? Okay, riot. This is your day to riot. So everybody goes out, rah, 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 rah. And the politicians are probably sitting back there looking at it and saying, look at all these people. They do their little rioting, and then at the end of the day, they go home. The street cleaners come by and clean off the streets. And I guess the rioters, self-righteous, they go back home saying, look what we did. We showed them the truth. We really stood up for the truth. And then nothing happens. They just follow their agendas, whatever they were going to do anyway. So that's what's happening in America, to be honest. It's just like becoming like that more and more and more. And the real issues, why are we not outraged with that in the streets? So Sha, I won't say anymore. I just want to say, wish you to, and hope you have a beautiful Tuesday. But I also would like you to remember, please go by and sign up, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, click the bell for any new videos. And it seems like I would like to do more videos. I would like to do it. I wanted to put up videos twice a week, but if we just say something every day, maybe I'll just say something every day, and those who listen will finally say something, and it'll start like a chain reaction. I know a lot of the speakers, Black Americans that are speaking out nowadays, are really showing me a lot of truth, and I think it's the things that they're saying is really resonating in my heart. This time is up. It's enough of this Civil War tactics, old tactics, lynching of all things. Like I say, just take a gun, or I'm not saying to do that, okay? But why go through the trouble of lynching somebody in broad daylight? I just think it's a staged event that is just trying to work African Americans up, it's just take a taser or something like that. But gee, lynching, like even with the guy, they found out the guy in, I think it was NASCAR or something like that. whoever this guy was, driver. You can look it up yourself. I'm sure you've seen tons of it. That it was just a rope. The FBI came out and just find out it was a rope that you pull to close the garage doors. And everybody went into a mass hysteria. They're trying to lynch him and trying to show vestiges of the past. Why go back to the 18th century? You know, with all this same old fear tactics. Look, we're not slaves. Well, maybe they were arguing. Maybe he didn't pick enough cotton, right? Or he didn't crop enough tobacco. So the white guy just said, look, you didn't do your job, slave. I guess that's what they were trying to say. And get upset about that. But anyway, we have to find out what they were arguing about. Okay, maybe he didn't crop, didn't have the mule pull the plow straight enough down the rows, and he was a little upset about it. So we're going to have to talk to that young man about that. I don't know. They argue about that. Pick that back of y'all, boy. Anyway, and please open your eyes and realize that this is just same old thing that they've been doing for hundreds of years. And aren't we big enough by now to really realize that just mental conditioning and just being pulled around by a nose here and pulled around by a nose there? And you don't worry, pretty soon you won't have to do all this because there won't be many of us left if they continue with their eugenics programs. There won't be too many black Americans left anyway. I'm sorry. Okay, guys, you guys doing a good job depopulating the black population in America and all the browns of the world. And why don't you get outraged about that? Be outraged about the robots that are taking. What you gonna do? You gonna lynch the robots? You see a robot hanging from a rope? I would suggest it's the 21st century, and we're about ready to experience the transhumanist agenda, which is all of this is a result of that. People turning away from God and turning away from the truth. But God is about ready to intervene and set up his kingdom on earth and get rid of all these lies and BS. Sorry, I won't say the actual word, but I'll give you the initials, BS. And that's what it is. So I'd like to wish you a very, very nice Tuesday. And I hope this came out a little clearer. And I'd like to wish you a super duper day. And lots of love. Don't forget to tune in every Sunday at 12 for our chats. We talk about, my wife and I, we discuss a lot of different issues. And I'll be making common sense videos like this from time to time. Thanks, and we really appreciate you logging in, and we hope you will subscribe to our YouTube channel.